Dayake, do you want to say something at this point?
Yes, so Igbo Gadi, the sense of being for Igbo, which in old century, a good writer coined the word to be or not to be, and that is the question, right? So if we are asking ourselves that question, part of the things that we had the Father Igbo help us through the last time was try to put this in a larger context. Why would somebody just make that declarative statement? What will cause somebody who's already being to say that they will be?
Yes.
And what we got to was there is a sense in making that declaration that there is something working against the being.
Yes.
So you are declaring because you are trying to overcome something that is against the particular statement.
Yes.
And then he put it in context that there are two things that are actually against the being of Igbo. One is internal, so intrinsic, that's something that we are doing ourselves. And then there are extrinsic ones, the external factors that are beyond our own control, that are being generated externally to the person. Yes. So in the same context, I'm wondering, we talked mostly about how it relates to Igbo, who are mostly found in the southern part of Nigeria, yes, southern eastern part of Nigeria, and also all over Nigeria these days and all over the world. But since we are at a global conversation for Tuesdays, in the dispersed Igbo all over the world, yes, what does that mean? Do we still have the same intrinsic and extrinsic factors working against the being of Igbo? To me, I think anybody will probably say yes. I will say yes.
Okay.
We are our own problem in a lot of cases, and in some cases we have some external factors working against us.
Okay, very good. If we look at, well, let me first say that I think the difficulty when you move outside of Igbo and into the diaspora lies primarily in the issue of assimilation. And I say that in the sense that we know that Igbo are present in virtually every country in the world today. In fact, any country that you go to and there's not an Onyibo living there, that is probably not a good place to be. Because once there is a chance that one can emigrate and live and make something of themselves, it is very likely that Igbo are there. So you have a whole host of countries with different languages. Igbo have moved all across the globe. In many instances, just like we have always done, we have married into these host communities. We have, in many cases, become part and parcel of that community. How does one retain his or her Igbo identity going down generations? Or is this even important? Is this something we should be looking to do or try to, or is it something we want to walk away from? I don't know how you feel about that.
Well, it's timely because I saw a video that I promptly posted on the Straight Talk radio page of one of my favorite people, Chimamanda, the DJ, talking about the same thing, about how when we leave local, even right now, even in the people who are still living in Igbo land now, how it's difficult for their kids to speak the language.
Okay.
Because it's almost like every Igbo person must speak English. And I know somebody's listening to this program and saying, well, you're talking about it and you guys are speaking in English. For a different case and a different reason altogether. But what she was saying is she's teaching her daughter Igbo.
Yes.
Actually, she's speaking to her daughter in Igbo.
In Igbo, yes.
But she wants her to pick it up at home because she knows and she's confident she will learn the other languages in school.
Okay.
And she's surprised by the number of Igbo people that will say, wow, she could speak Igbo. Right, as a surprise, right?
Yes.
And these are two parents where the families where the two parents speak Igbo fluently, were taught in Igbo, and their kids can't speak the language. And the excuse is that, well, you don't want to do that because you're going to confuse the kid. And then she added, then they promptly will register the kid for French lessons. So you're confusing them by teaching them Igbo at home. But then it's okay to have them learn English, Spanish at school, and then teach them French after, but not Igbo. Yes. So if Igbo Gadi, if we're going to be, part of the being is to retain part of what makes you Igbo.
Okay.
And your culture is a big part of that, language being a huge part of that.
Okay. So that's very, I agree. Language is important. And to the extent that Igbo families can, I think I too would join the chorus encouraging parents to try to teach their children Igbo at home, preferably have them fluent in Igbo prior to engaging in formal education, which they will now, in most cases, acquire in different languages. So I do agree with that. What about the children who have not learned to speak Igbo? So we have a lot, for example, here in the United States, you have a lot of teenage and young adult children who did not pick up the language at home, who, as they have grown older, have increasingly become interested in Igbo affairs. We also need to address that issue because we should not count them as lost, should we?
No, I think language is just one facet of the culture.
Okay.
We're talking about culture specifically, but Igbo-ness and Igbo itself is not just restricted to the language or the culture. There are thought, a worldview, and wisdom that is associated to the Igbo people that anybody could learn whether they speak the language or not. It defies language. It is a part of being as in existence that is part of the Igbo. Those are the things, actually, those are the most important things to focus on. Language and the dressing and mannerisms are external.
Yes.
The intrinsic parts of being Igbo is the worldview and the wisdom and all the other things that make one Igbo that are not easily seen.
Excellent. Let me welcome Mazi Odeluga, who has also joined this conversation. Mazi Odeluga Kele.
Ndewano.
Yes. So, Mazi Okachukwu, I absolutely agree with what you just said, because it is just not language. There is a unique way Ndi Igbo see life. There is a unique set of, I don't know if it's our shared experiences that have given us a peculiar way of looking at things. It isn't just language or clothing, or even though I think as we go deeper, we should begin to explore things that diaspora communities should try to do to at least stay connected. But if you look at the Igbo approach, there are things an old man will tell you, a proverb an old man will tell you. You may not have heard it before, but it will resonate very strongly with you because you know exactly where he's coming from. And these are things that are also important for Ndi Igbo to try to keep. But when we come to, okay, like, so you have a community. As with everything else in the world, if you're outside of your traditional home, you are faced with challenges of a different culture. a different language, a different setting. Many times, immigrants spend spend a considerable amount of time trying to settle down. You need a job, you need housing, you need planning for your children, and all these things, at the same time looking to people you left at home to take care of. How does one begin to build a community in the diaspora that can help maintain the Igbo culture and pass it on generations down? Because do you need to have a church? So is it through religion? Is it through education? Is it through cultural centers? What do you feel? How do we maintain these links?
Now, if I may say, the way I look at it is from the point of view of who made us Igbo.
Okay.
Because I think once we understand the fact that we were made Igbo, created Igbo, because na etu onye nwe anyị si chua. So when through our own colonial experience, some other people came and condemned who we are because they wanted to override us, they wanted to control us. So it's important that na ọkụ as na ọkụ agụnye nweta n'aka na ọma mmegide na ọma nlegbu in the sense that I think providence and destiny gave us the values, and our ancestors kept it all these years, and it sustained a very thriving civilization. And now that we are even in the diaspora, you will find out that no monyeji koji anaka. It used to be people thought that maybe you keep your knife, you pick up somebody else's weapon, and you want to fight with their weapon, or you want to operate with their weapon, but they're actually playing their game. So for as long as we want to neglect, I was saying the word neglect, meaning not give thought to the idea of perpetuating our language, we will be losing a lot of cultural values and also wisdom. Ya ntona na akọ uche nna nna efa ji wee megini wee succeed. I can understand your point, Mazi Obasi, that in sometimes as we go to other people's, we live in other lands, there's the pressure to settle down, there's the pressure to find your space. But that is no longer an experience in the American diaspora, for example.
Okay.
The first set of wave of people have already settled. The newer people coming in, unfortunately, are not coming with renewal, in the sense that it's usually the lot of a diaspora community that the first set of people may come in and lose some things, but the fresh entrants, those who are coming back in, are coming in with renewal, meaning they bring new blood, new energy, they bring connectedness to the homeland. But a lot of the new Nigerians, new Igbo people coming into Chicago, for example,
well, in defense of the shall we say second, third, and fourth wave of immigrants, I think it is usually easier for newer immigrants if they come into an established community. Yes.
No,
so in other words, if somebody comes to Chicago, where we are, and lekwe ebe ndị Igbo na-ezukọ, lekwe ebe ndị Igbo na-aka ụka, lekwe ebe ndị Igbo na-azụ ahịa, whatever it is, that there is an established community that you can tap into, then it becomes easy. First of all, you don't have to fight the same battles the first and second wave fought before you. and you can now channel your energy towards other facets of community building.
Yes.
So I think...
so what you're saying is that the failure of the first wave could actually impact the second wave and the third wave.
Future waves coming in. Yes.
So I agree with you.
Okay.
But that's my point, is that even those who are coming in with renewal, because again, some of the second wave, third wave people might be the ones who will say, wow, let's organize. And they might be the ones who have the energy or who have, but again, I think it behoves those of us, because I'll consider ourselves some of the first wave.
Okay.
To now start settling down to build the institutions that will support the next group of people, and this is not difficult to see that it will happen, because no one natagodo citizenship in America. Well, ike under the law, if
Trump allows that to continue.
No, but no question of if Trump, we will not let him not do that, or anybody in this country, in the sense that is traditionally the way America views herself. It's a core American value that we are an immigrant nation, and family reunification is ingrained in our culture. So, because now if you really look at it, in a sense, none of the Africans, the ancestors that came here from Mandi, Bialndi, Igbo, Bialo, Mando, Akan, Mando, all the other ethnic groups all out of West Africa, Yoruba, and also East Africa, the Yoruba, the Benin,
Middle Belt. Yes.
Many of them have not been able to bring anybody because the link was cut. So when Europeans were bringing their family members, the Asians were bringing their family members, the African in America had never had that opportunity. And so we are actually the first generation of Africans in the American diaspora who can actually extend that privilege to our own loved ones. So and that is needful. So that if anybody, be it anybody who is in our community, the African diaspora community, must insist that family migration will be left intact, because that's how we renew our community, and that's how we continue to enlarge our community and our influence in the American diaspora. Ndini are not bringing, they are not going to come with problems, because now they all come. The African immigrants are known to be one of the most educated immigrants in America on arrival, not while. Yeah.
Mazi, okay, were you?
I see where the conversation is going, and I want to bring it back a little bit.
Yes, sure.
By that I mean, I would like to talk about, just like we did on Saturday, what are the things, what are those things that are intrinsic to us that is actually stopping us from moving forward, or stopping us from being as people in diaspora. I think that's where we were going before we got into the immigration point.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, I mean, we've talked about this a whole lot before when we talked about Igbos and their neighbors, and we've mentioned it a few times. There are some things that we do or we carry forward with us as immigrants to a new nation that when we get there, we should look at ourselves and go, oh, no, that's not going to play here. For us to be good to our neighbors, we should let those go. Maybe it had worked where we came from, but these kind of things we should drop. Okay. And there are things that we carry with us that are actually not part of our culture that we picked up from other places that it seems like we never really let go, that we should start working on letting go. One of them is, I know some people will say it's confidence, but sometimes that confidence goes beyond bordering on arrogance, and it's arrogance
brashness.
Itself. I know we talked. We gave an example of something from way past that happened in Nigeria, where somebody went to Calabar area and then got so good, and through his hard work was able to develop his surroundings and built a hotel. But then he named it Calabar Shut Up. That's not the kind of behavior. That's outrageous. That's not humility. That's not helping the community. You may think that the hotel is bringing business to the community, but the way you present it, the arrogance with which, I mean, sometimes we think it's a celebration of our excellence, but it's not. And those are the things that we should start looking at and saying, how could we shed these so that we do not become our own stumbling block? Because
well, and I hear you, and I agree that these are, and hopefully we'll continue to discuss this tonight. These are some traits we have as Igbo that we need to begin to walk away from, because now, especially since we're talking about diaspora communities, makana okoko batara ọhụrụ na-eji otu ụkwụ akwụ. There's a reason eji atụ ilu ahụ. You lay low and humble yourself and learn the lay of the land so that you can assimilate properly. But I think one of the things, moving this conversation actually a little bit more backward too, is we are also looking at what should we be doing as an Igbo. So it is not just that you emigrate, you establish yourself and become successful, which we as Igbo are very good at doing. We're very good at finding success wherever we are. We succeed wherever we find ourselves. But the bigger question to me is, where does that success, what does it translate into? If at the end of 2 generations, your Igbo-ness is gone. For example, I give you an example. Steve Jobs is actually a Syrian. Today, nobody sees him as a Syrian. It is only the Syrian and other Syrian Americans and a few people who know that can point to say, oh, Steve Jobs was Syrian American. You cannot say the same for example, if I take a group that has done very well, the Jews, wherever they are, to a great extent, they have managed to keep their identity. So, for ndị Igbo, how are we going to be able to continue to live and prosper in our diaspora communities while continuing to keep our identity? That to me is the question.
Because identity is a collective effort.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
So the first order of business is know that you cannot succeed alone.
Okay.
Because it used to be that the Igbo way of doing things, but that the man does not consider himself a success if there are pockets of failures or unsuccess around him. So man bonye ga bu obule ya bu asino ya bu onwa na etilora. The idea of onwa na etilora, nobody becomes the lone moon in the sky. Everybody is the star. So onye na enwugodu odebe babandue na asika babando nwanne cha
soro
ka ncha. Let's all, it's all about unu niile ayi niile kaira.
Yes.
So when we come into a community where we now all join hands together to say, how can we America we enyi ofonya man listen we.
Okay.
That means we need to, and you ofonya man butu we. So we need to come together. And that does not need us, that does not mean that we all agree at all times. Look at that proverb, that idiom that our fathers had. Think about the process of it will require that some people will put shame
Humility.
away.
Yes.
Where put a then everybody will now aim at the same spot, which means you have to really give room to your neighbor so that they will have
his instrument. There you go.
So they actually, what they are actually telling us, everybody have to bury their ego, submuse their own ideas or shame, or we have to do this together. So for our own common, to be able to produce
for the common good, yes.
For common good, to be able
What
to
you're saying
generate
is-
some action.
It's besides your personal endowment
That's
or
right.
that.
Yes.
Yes.
The focus and the vision is the same, which is the Mamele Igbo Fufu. The Igbo
Yes.
Fufu is the focus.
The goal is to
And
produce
I
a
think-
forming.
I think that you have hit the nail on the head, because the issue there is shared interest.
Yes.
Shared interest. Kedu ihe dịrị Igbo mma? Because when you identify the shared interests, then everybody can buy in and work together to actualize that shared interest. But if everybody is seeking personal
Interest.
gain, onye na nke ya, then nothing happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing that for those of us who've been in the Chicago area for at least in the last 25 years,
Okay.
I don't see the need again for us to continue to maybe do some of what we've done in the last 25, 30 years
It
that
will be
have not
it
allowed
continue.
us to create a
To grow.
community- a
To
community.
actually to grow, yes.
Uh-huh.
So that's what I think we should talk about in a little bit more depth tonight. What are the things that we do? Because to tell you the truth, as you travel across the globe and look at Igbo communities, some are a little closer, some are a little looser, but all in all, behavior is the same.
Yes. So, in fact, I was, Mazio, okay, do you have something to say before I jump in?
No, go ahead. I
Okay.
will
Now,
follow up.
you see, I was just thinking about it today.
Yes.
It seems to me that one of the things that kind of like we place great emphasis on is when people exit this life.
Yes. Burial.
So mgbe onye afọ nazila more in a realm and a place where we are no longer active participants with onye afọ.
Yes.
It seems to be one thing that mobilizes us.
Okay.
Because it's easy for me to gather people around me at the time
Of grieving.
of grieving.
Uh-huh.
You may gather some people at the time of a new life. Maybe at the time that I'm passing through one or two major stages of life, which is marriage, promotion, or
Graduation.
marriage anniversary or graduation.
Yes.
But if you look at all these, it's all about one family or an individual.
Yes.
And other families will come together. We do that very well.
Yes.
Now, why is it that those who are living find it difficult to gather around the idea of creating a common union? And I'm not talking about organization, but a common idea.
Yes.
Where we can all dwell to flourish, those of us who are living, as a way to aggregate ourselves against the pressures of this life, and also to promote and enhance our collective well-being and being.
Yes.
Okwatago?
Yeah.
Because na mmadụ ada ofu onye, like I said, ofu osisi ada eme ọfịa. And we need each other. Onye ife kwulu, ife akwudebie. That is the concept na Igbo. Why is it that we can't do that? And you could see the need for it. Ndị na-achọ ọlụ, onwere onye ga-enyere nwere ibi aka. onwere onye mụ ife ibie na-alụ, onwere onye na-agba ibie aka afịa, onwere onye na-ajụ ibie ka o si eje ana. Ịghọtago? Ogube nwanne nwoke so ya na eruru ụbọchị unu ga-anụzi na there's a problem, ike o tibelgo, ọ bụrụ na akpọ polisi ka ọ bịa, ọ bụrụ na nwoke mezila tinye aka na ajọ ife. Where is our sense of community, of people knowing fully well that it's important to aggregate and congregate together? Especially in a diaspora community where we are going to raise children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. At some point, that should become the priority. And all these rites of passages can go on within that community.
Yes.
But it's a functional community that addresses the needs of that of that community generationally. Because there are certain things that I cannot train and teach my children, but within the community, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people can help bring that to my child.
But you actually have said some. Mazi, okay, did you want to say something?
Go
ahead.
So it worries me, and
Yes.
actually, I'm glad you raised it up. It really is a bother to me.
Yes.
A lot of the events I end up going to in Chicago, where we live, is related to somebody's memorial or burial or some kind of grieving. Yes, we do go to a few events, but too busy to go to too many parties. But usually when it comes to burials, and I think it's because of two things. One is yes. That one seems like it's a cultural one. It's a cultural wisdom that got all the way in.
And it's not necessarily a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
But I think Maazio Deluga is saying that we seem to be doing this to the exclusion of other events that may be more...
Which is contrary to the other one, which says that so if I see where there's celebration, where would I go to where there is grieving?
Yes.
But it's two competing things. But I hear you and I agree completely. We should do things differently that we have continued to do them. It doesn't make sense that if a brother or a sister is suffering, that I don't know about it and I don't care about it, or even when I know about it, it's not as bothersome as when I hear that they died. It is too late when somebody is dead for me to help them. The money or the gifts or the help that I provide after they are gone is medicine after death.
Yeah.
It's only for those that are living. So I think it makes the most sense, like you said, when we are living. Now that we are all living together, that we actually try to live together by sharing experiences and also building this community and continuing to propagate our be the real custodians of that wisdom and culture that our fathers and forefathers gave to us, and make sure that it gets to the next generation.
So I'm going to propose a theory. And you can agree or shoot it down as you see fit.
Yes.
But let me first start by saying we all know that a common theme among communities that thrive, or one of the measures that tells you how well a community is doing, is how many times a dollar or any unit of currency circulates within that community before it goes outside, right?
Right.
So
you're going to propose a pyramid?
No, prior to the Civil War,
Yes.
I do remember that at that time, Ndi Igbo had a very strong inward-looking communities.
Yes.
In other words, anakwa akwa ganu na nke telo. Amotelo onye Igbo na akwa akwa. Bricklayer onye Igbo. Carpenter onye Igbo. In each community, you had people that did jobs.
Yeah, Baba.
And everybody patronized them. And in return, you were sure that you would get a decent service at a decent price.
Yes.
Nowadays, we run away from our own. If you go to any, let's take an accountant in Chicagoland, Igbo, and go and ask him or her, how many Igbo are your clients? You go to physicians, how many Igbo are your clients? You go to virtually any endeavor.
Onye Igbo ga-abịakwute mgbe ọ chọrọ
when he needs something for free.
Ọ bụrụ also free. Mgbe ọ chọzi ife magomago ọkpọ ọgwụ ka o mebie afa. Ịghọtago? So but he will not call you when they are really down and they need wisdom and advice. And I want to speak to that because that sometimes is crazy. In a diaspora community where no onye ọbụla na-echekwala ibie.
Yes.
Those of us who are privileged to be in healthcare know that we have a certain sensibilities towards our own.
Yes.
And no when those ọ ga-abụ ijekwe
the more you look, the less you see. Yes.
So you find that your own people are dying in silence when they know that solutions are even within the community. It's a question of a phone call away to say, "Wanna otado," and that person can give you the advice that is between life or death. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're right, but again, the American diaspora is uniquely different in this sense.
Okay.
I be America can Igbo si abi America. That's what I keep telling myself. Many of us did not come to the American diaspora. We didn't come here like Ndi Igbo jelo Cameroon, Ndi Igbo jelo Chad, Ndi Igbo jelo Cotonou.
Okay.
Ndi Igbo jelo South Africa, Botswana. You got to go? Because or even the Igbo jelo Malaysia. Now, a lot of what used to happen is that when the Igbo extends themselves to another location, is actually when they get there, they're looking for problems to solve. And most of them go there and they use their entrepreneurial skills to establish businesses and services.
Okay.
America is unique in the sense that many of our people who came early, Belija Akuko, ka anata beke, these golden flakes, ka anata nuno. So there was not this, focus on building businesses and creating the wealth that grows communities. You got to go?
Okay.
Then subsequently, everybody comes in, is all Igbo, so that's how we've kind of like rolled. But that needs to begin to gradually change. And we see maybe some sparks of change because a lot more of middle-aged men and women in our community are beginning to establish businesses. But again, you find out now there are sometimes we lack what I call ingenuity of creativity. Asif Namazi Okachukwu na Aswakwa, he just opened a dry cleaner. It looks like he changed 2 or 3 shirts with it. Then everybody are watching a dry cleaning. Before you know it,
the market is closed.
All this saturated.
For the same little pocket. You got to go. So, what is my point? We need to diversify. And I know diversify. Then part of it is it's not only Igbo that will patronize you, but also that's an outreach opportunity for us into other communities.
Sure.
So the only thing that people cry and say, "Oh, we want our own people to support." I mean, you have a base clientele. If your own people are your base clientele, I'm a call Jonah.
Go out and yes.
I'm a call Jonah.
But you see, the flip side of that discussion is, of course, that owner, you have a business, and your community supports your business. And you, in turn around and give back to the community.
Yes. So, but you see,
but when it becomes an issue, you make a little money, And now it becomes, you begin to lord your wealth over the same people that are helping you grow. Aha! Because I also see that as a problem. I don't know when we switched from, and again, it comes back to the issue of humility and arrogance. Because if you look at village unions, if you go back to the village when things were done the proper way, if your age grade selects you as a leader, it is a thing of service. It is not a thing, ejeko komoko. Then next thing, you start lording it over those same age grade members that made you their leader.
No, here batazi occasion. Announce your name for 7 minutes before you come in.
Well,
or you come in with an entourage. So then it becomes a flamboyant.
That's the point. I was at an event in Houston a few years ago, and they said no. If they announce you, you have to wait. And this is for you to walk up and sit at the table.
Yes.
You know, I'm happy to say I turned that down because we don't deal in that kind of thing. Yeah. But these are the things,
yes.
These are the things we need to drop.
No, because you're so right. Within the Igbo society, we are all equal.
Yes.
If you have the opportunity to serve, you're the first among equals. Ana-asịkwa na aka niile ararọ. Mana Igbo niile onye ọbụla asị na nwoke tosi ochele ibie.
Yes.
Ịghọtago? So you see, it's not about your wealth does not really distinguish, give you a special place.
The more important thing, ka onye ahana.
Yes.
O nwere mkpa ọ na-egbo.
That's right. And that is the key.
Yes. There's a service he provides. Yes.
So now, I hear you. It's very embarrassing the way sometimes people want to be introduce you or want to carry themselves. It does show sometimes that people don't have self-worth or self-confidence. There's nothing wrong in people being acknowledged for their achievements or accomplishments. But, when now it's all of it, it becomes
the whole show.
Drama.
Yes.
I spend that 1 hour introducing the guy on Isioche. Now, where is it in our culture? That's what you ask yourself. So then, these are things. The idea, but if you watch the Igbo culture, no, Abiyama go Kara. People who have accomplished are sitting together with those who are also people who may not have all the feathers in their cap, but they are all treated with dignity and respect.
Yes.
Onye kulu kunie okene ora. Okusikwo kwa onolana. Onwere onye a na-asị na ike na no okusiri ana. Mbano. No. Okusiago. No.
Oputobie. Therein lies. So, when we talk about, because I think taking it back a little bit, at the end of the day, we are going to need to find a way to put structures in place that strengthen Igbo communities.
Yes.
It is only by strengthening Igbo communities wherever they are that you can hope to perpetuate our Igbo-ness.
Yes.
And not let it die.
Yeah, because you can only perpetuate a culture through a group.
Through a group.
You can't do it
by
alone.
yourself. Exactly. So
it's not like I'll take an ad to prove that I'm Igbo man and that there are Igbo people in Chicago.
Yes.
No, people in Chicago have to see Igbo people.
Yes.
And when they see you, they say, wow, we recognize you because of your people's, the way you do your things, the way you live, the way you marry, the way your celebration. So, like we have in Chicago, Igbo Festival. That should be the reason why people come into Chicago to attend it.
attend
And truly,
yes.
there are people, Igbo people, who travel from the Midwest area
Absolutely.
to come. There are young people
as far as Atlanta. People are flying in from Atlanta for
but
Igbo
but
Fest.
what I mean is, look at, they had Chinese celebration at the McCormick place.
Yes.
You saw how many people that gathered around it, and how the city celebrated that.
Yes.
It should be that Igbo Fest now gets on the Chicago Department of Events calendar as one of the tourist attractions, and people come from all over the world to see Ndi Igbo Iliji Festival of Ndi Igbo, to see Igbo cultural dances, to see Igbo, the Igbo celebrating their Igbo-ness. Now, those are the things that will make you distinct and actually promote your way of life, because that's part of what you're contributing to the global village.
So, thank you.
You're listening to Straight Talk Radio on WGHC 98.3 FM, your voice, your music, your station. This is a public service station, and this is your station. This is owned by Africa Diaspora. And we ask you to help and keep this on the air. If you like what you hear and you like to be part of the conversation, we encourage you to download the TuneIn app for your Android, or go to the Apple Store and get the WGHC 98.3 FM app, where you could listen to us without any interruptions. If you are not anywhere near Chicago, that you could turn on the 98.3 FM dial on the north side of Chicago. These are ways you could listen to us. We also broadcast live on Facebook. For some of you who are already on Facebook and giving us your comments, we really, really are encouraged by that, and we thank you for joining us. We also ask you, please, to go to our website and donate as much as you can, wghcfm.org, and we thank you for your donations, which are tax deductible. You could also be able to find us on Facebook on Straight Talk Radio page, or at the group Straight Talk to You Radio. So we thank you for listening, and we will continue the conversation. And we're talking about Igbo Gadi, which was the title, the theme for the just concluded ISA Igbo Studies Association conference in Chicago, and we're discussing how that applies to the Igbo people in diaspora. And back to you, Mazi.
Yes. So yes, I was going to say, here we are talking about Chicago. Chicago is one city in the United States.
Yes.
If you could get Ibonile in the United States to do certain things in common, how much more? So that if it is time for Igbo Fest, Ndi Ibonile from US and Canada can come to Chicago and truly have a celebration of Igbo Fest. But take as an example, over the years in this country, America, Igbos have tried to organize themselves on a global scale. Mm-hmm. If you count any single organization that has tried to represent the interests of Ndi Igbo Niile, no matter how good the intentions were when it was founded, they have all gone through serious crisis. Mm-hmm. Which raises the question, why is it that Ndi Igbo cannot come together and stay together?
Yeah, all depends. You see, as you make your bed, so will you lie on it.
You go.
Oh, very big.
Well,
no kuku ebe aka lụrụ onye ka ọ na-ekobe akpa. What I mean by that is the ability of any organization to thrive or to survive is equivalent or can be determined by how good Igbo-centric his vision is.
Okay.
Why do I say that? I found out that most times when our people organize any kind of group, the focus is usually etu ọ ga-esi dịrị m mma. people are looking at, okay, if I get the organization and firm, if I get benefit in here. No, they're not looking at, that we have to build an institution that will represent our worldview, our way of thinking, and actually outlast us and be bigger than us. It should not. You see, when you build something that you can be, that you can
manage, you can control
or overshadow, then it's not Igbo, because nifi Igbo na maybe vesilike. And so, in a nutshell, my view, a lot of those things are parochial in their vision. Oh, Fuka, we can add 20 na ime. Let's organize. Oh, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. 6 or 7 of the people are thinking about how they're going to. This is going to be the platform. But a governor, Hagos governor, no habum. Meanwhile, everybody else came that this is an opportunity for us to showcase and preserve our culture. So
why is it so hard for us, after many trials and failures, to craft a system that allows the greater vision to be actualized despite?
Again, it will require us to organize around things that are bigger than us.
I think part of the problem is that we are all experts. What I mean by that is anybody that you pick up and say that was in any of those organizations that didn't work, or more than 1 or 2 of them, they will tell you exactly why it didn't work.
Yes.
What they don't tell you is, how do you make sure that those kind of things don't repeat? It was the mayor of Chicago, the current mayor of Chicago, that said that you can't waste you have to take advantage of every crisis. And I understand what he was saying. I know people use that to make fun of him. But what he was saying is, at least the way I understand it or choose to interpret it, is you don't learn anything when things are going great the way you planned them. You learn mostly from your failures.
Okay.
And what we have not done is actually use the benefit of hindsight to learn from our failures. What we continue to do is espouse what our vision, recast our vision over and over again, and think that if we gloss over those failures, or if we move on, that the benefit of time will erase and the waves will come and wash away whatever was on the sand. We have to learn. We have to look at those things and say what made it not work.
Yeah,
and then start from there.
Because if we build with the notion, Nandummeli Bonduazu. If this organization survives, we'll survive. If it fails, we'll fail. Not what am I going to do by cannibalizing it so that I will benefit, but then everybody else will lose. But it's important that we also recognize that it is not, because there are some people who are very good at initiating things, but are not good at managing it and maintaining it for the long run. So if my skills is such that I know how to bring people together, it does not necessarily mean that I'm the best person that can serve that organization to take it to the next level.
Once people have been brought together.
Once people come together. So you find out that oftentimes, is the same people that brought everybody together for this grand purpose that end up destroying the organization because or because no feeling then he has this founder syndrome. No, God might use you to start something. It is a smart leader that can now know that the person who just came might be the person who could take this to the next level and release that idea to them to take it to the next. So long as the vision with us remains true. And so that is one. The other trap that I see that our people fall into, it is for Igbo. The fact that I was the one that solved that God was used, or we are given the opportunity and privilege by the community to solve a problem today.
Okay.
That does not mean if the problem comes up tomorrow that I'm still going to be the one.
Okay.
Which means everybody have their different talent and gifting. And people, the Igbo would like to give people more opportunity so that other people will have the opportunity to serve and to solve. Because these people, if you perpetuate to work in office, it does not allow for exchange of new ideas. It does not allow for opportunity for other people's skills to come out. Because again, that is one thing that you see within our communities. That today no onya ajela yozi does not mean the echino ayeje. The Igbo will always select somebody and say, this person is the best person for it. This is the best person for it. So, and most times what happens is, if I don't like Mazi Obasi and they ask him that he's the one that who will go, my first question is, why is it that they didn't ask me? Why should he be the one? And then I'll start working against him to prove that everybody was wrong when they chose him. Instead of saying, that's wonderful, let's support him to help us.
Help him so that despite his not being the qualified person, that is not because of your bad energy that he didn't do it well, right?
That's right.
It's amazing to me that a lot of us who work in corporate America and even beyond go to work and work for people who may have started the organizations we're working for,
yes,
but have also realized where their powers lay and have taken the position that best suited their strengths.
Yes.
And sometimes the CEO of the company you're working for is not a founder, because he has realized that he is not the best person suited to drive that big ship to the right destination. He takes the role as maybe an engine room person just to make sure that he gets there, because he's working on something far more greater,
yes,
a good name,
okay,
a legacy that lives beyond the company. And that's what we used to work for as in Igbo.
Yeah.
Should get back to where we look for the good name and work towards the good name for the sake also of the community surviving beyond us.
Yeah, and then the other aspect of it is succession.
Yeah.
Succession.
Something
We have not, let me put it this way, we have not effectively trained the generation that will succeed us. But within our community, and most communities, our Igbo communities in the Americas, we have now children who are 40-something.
Many of us are grandparents.
Many of
so
us are
our
grandparents.
children have had children of their own. And
Yet,
are moving into middle age.
yes, and then yet, a lot of the organizations that they grew up in did not prepare them to take the reins of those organizations. In fact, in their bylaws, there was not even written into their bylaws how to initiate the young people as they come of age. So if also at some point, he doesn't even sign in, go to college, leave college, not part of that organization, and then moves away.
But that's exactly the point where we started. That it is that behavior that you are actually ensuring that these children, as they go down the drain, they become less and less Igbo. And by the time you go 2 to 3 generations, the link is gone.
Yeah.
And then they become African Americans, British citizens, Canadians, Chinese, Japanese, or wherever they assimilate into the larger culture, because we have not done the things we need to do to keep them true to theirs.
Yeah, so what you mean is that they will be seen as.
Yes.
But, but they are still by heritage.
But they will be seen as wherever they are, so until something bad or they do something bad. Something bad happens to them, then
that's when you remember that how Igbo.
No, not only that, they will lose very important skill set, with which survival skill set or values or attributes that actually have sustained our civilization for years. So my point is, at some point, at some stage in our journey, we make a logical and strategic decision to hand over to the next generation and watch them, because what is unique about every generation is that they have the skill set to take you to that generation to the next level. A lot of our children are more American. They understand America
a lot more better than we do.
That's the point. They can bring together the strength of the American culture and fuse it together with the Igbo to form a very dynamic and powerful Igbo-American composite. Why do I say that? A lot of us who are immigrants, I know we didn't go into the mainstream of the culture.
Okay.
Partly because of our educational process. By the time we came here, either at best you went to college here, but that is actually not where America is formed in you. The America is molded in you in kindergarten, in grade school, in high school. Do you understand?
Okay.
That's where your Americanness is groomed and built. So they have reach and they have connections and network. They think a little differently.
Yes.
Now they have the Igbo path to fuse with what is good from the culture where we are. Think about how dynamic that will be. There are so many organizations that I see. I can American calendar as a way of fundraising. How many Americans have you walked into their house and see where they have a calendar?
Almanac.
It is here for Tony Madden, of Mazi Obasi and his family. Chief Dr. Sa Okechukwu and his family.
You forgot to say ultimate high chief.
No,
Yeah.
So we're in America. I mean, only for the year, it's so funny.
Well,
but there are other ways that we raise money here. If not a young person to help us raise money, or say we can just crowdfunding or go to GoFundMe.
Yes.
Or they're looking for how to craft and get ad sales somewhere.
Yes.
They have different mindset and different understanding. So you're in America.
But meanwhile, there are grants lavishing somewhere
where you could actually apply and tap into.
That's right.
Therein lies. Okay, so
no. You see, I'll give examples in this city. Was one of our sons who works within the state government.
Yes,
was able to get twice from the government of Illinois a proclamation on Biafra Memorial.
On Biafra Memorial
every May.
Yes.
Not just the Democratic governor, but also the Republican governor.
Yes.
Now, if those of us who came from Nigeria, the new immigrants, we will not even be thinking in those terms.
Or you will form a committee.
Oh, by the time we form a committee to approach the governor to see how,
yes.
Then before you know it, the first two people who will go and meet the governor will give them their own card. The next thing they are looking for a job with the governor instead of talking about why we came. Then before you know it, the committee will be in a disarray because if there were 5 people sent on the journey, 2 people have now made a private appointment with the governor, and then the other 3 that was supposed to be there will now be crying foul.
So back to the question. These are all the problems we have. How do we begin to craft solutions? What are the things we can, what are your suggestions on what we can do to begin to rebuild Igbo communities in the diaspora?
Okay, so ndị Igbo na-asị onye asị ya jide ka oji mba nọ na-eme ọfụma, right?
Okay.
Onye asị ya raa ka oji
ọmana ife ọ na-eme adọrọ mma.
A na-asị wepụ aka enwe n'ofe. You see, the Igbo will throw back the responsibility of doing what is right and what is for the common good back to the individual, because the individual knows. So, myself included, I'm saying to everybody, you know how much of the problem you're part of. If you were your own issue, you will guide your hand, that hand that is spoiling the soup
pot.
then we are at the solution. The problem is 3/4 solved, because all the people in Manyaka now ofe ma na agbalu mmiri is the problem. Mana onye ọbụla asị onye ọbụla wepụ aka enwe n'ofe na ọ dị ka aka mmadụ. Meaning, stop that which you're doing that you know that is not good. Maka o nwere ndị ọ bụ ọlụfa ịkọsọ ọnụ, and they don't really care who, but their point is no, o nwere ife a ga-eme ebe a ga-aga ọ bịa gbachie ụzọ.
Agada gbachiri ụzọ.
The other part of it is Igbo si na a na-agba izu.
Yes.
What is Igbo? O nwere onye ga-abụ na-enye nsogbu na community, agbakpọ izu. Then people will have a consensus agreement around what should happen to onye a na-enye nsogbu. Maka ofu onye ada akali ọra. But you see, we seem sometimes to now celebrate people who are deviant in their behavior. Everybody among onye a na-enye nsogbu, but I see no called Siraya that he at least he keeps everybody on their toes. But really, what he's done or she has done is not bring any kind of constructive idea. So what he does is obla akataka bata n'ọgbọ. Ịma na akataka bata n'ọgbọ chụa mmụọ niile. Ike ya apụalịa. Ịma na ọpịa ezigbo mmadụ. And that's what you see.
Well,
there are several people.
I agree.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
I want to put it in a different light. Which is now our madine a for it to have a gad. Ejira anya ọma ejuke ebere. So ndị na-ade tisa oge ọbụla ndị ntisa. Sometimes ọwụrụ anya ọma o nwere ife na-achụ awa o ji agba ọsọ isi ya. What I'm saying is, go for we focus on the noisy ones, the people who name bottle, and we treat them. Instead, you get to the many more are them bottle.
The silent majority.
Silent majority. So now what we will have to do is if equal. So I'll go back to it a little bit with a little different angle, which is onye ọbụla bido n'ime ụlọ ya. Etu isi wee sị na onye na-eme ma ife ọ na-eme onye ọbụla bido n'ụlọ ya. So ruo mkpanyelụ ndị be m tata gwa ha si ahụ ha nekwa ụdị ife anyị na-eje, nekwa ụdị mmadụ anyị bụ, nekwa ụdị ife anyị chọrọ. Ife anyị na-achọ bụ ife ga-adịla Igbo mma community. Onye be m si ya ịfụ ka m na-eme nke dị ka ọsọsọ mụnwa ka m na-emelụ na na-eme ka nzata afa m, biko ji nwayọ dọghachi m azụ dụọ m aka. Gwa nwanne m nwoke si ya ịfụkwa ka m na-eme etu ahụ. Gwa nwanne m nwaanyị si ya biko nekwe asa onye Igbo na ife anyị chọrọ. Ibido n'ime ụlọ weta ndị ma gị, then ha ebido dụwa gị ọdụ na ha fụ etu ahụ. Gị nwe ebidokwa dụwa ha nwa ọdụ, so that you have peace in your house first. Isizie n'ụlọ pụta wụlụ sọ mma, then mma ahụ emetụ mmadụ niile. Anyị bịa mmadụ ndị na-eme mkpọtụ anyị emelụ ha ebele because na anyị ma na stress ka nkụ. O nwere ndị soja Iraq nata ka na-aya nyawo PTSD. When they build Nigeria, trauma in Nigeria actually is equivalent to PTSD. So all email in there hamala. Mana chota a way to actually leave them be in their space, get it in the other.
Oh ya bụ ịgbapụ izu. Maka izu a agba ga-abụ ike ka enyere onye aka ka ọ dị ya. Maka na oge ụfọdụ na ọ bụrụ sọsọ ebe a fụrụ ya n'ilo ka ya bụ nsogbu dị. Na o nwee ebe ọzọkwa ya bụ nsogbu dịkwa. Maka na ọ nwere ka onye na-eje ọrụ n'obodo a ga-esi dị mma n'ọrụ mana ọ pụta na ebe onye na ụmụnne ya nọ ọ bụrụ aghara ọ bụrụ ịkpa ịghọtago ma o rue n'ụlọ bie ọmajụa nnọọ bụrụ tele mana ọ pụta na mba na ama osu maka na but that's what it's going to take, and then it's going to take a new way of looking at what we do. by asking the question, will my son or my daughter learn anything by watching me?
And watching Ghana, because some of these sons and daughters are manage more millions with the companies they work for than their parents or their uncles can ever do.
Well, but
people are looking at them and knowing how responsible they are and giving them responsibilities much more than you are thinking.
So actually you just hit on something that is again a consequence and a major failure. Maka, just look at sports. Every year, NBA, NFL, draft. You look at the draft, at least 3 to 4 Igbo are drafted. These could become very powerful spokespeople for the Igbo collective. But because there is no Igbo collective, they may speak for their family. A few of them that I know that do like medical missions
or charity
do it for themselves. There is nothing there that says Ndi Igbo.
Actually, most of them are framed as Ndi by the press.
As Nigeria, well, they are Nigerians. They are Nigerians.
No, on as a Nigeria, well, is there any culture?
Passport,
no,
Nigeria case.
Bro, you see, passport is Nigeria. But let's be honest ourselves. Is there a cultural tenet? No Nigeria. Because the Igbo passport. Meanwhile, because if we Igbo, for Yoruba, for Ibibio, for Fig, for Shekili, for Urobo. If for Hausa, for Nupe, for Kanuri. Only I'm not Thomas teacher.
Yeah.
On what road for fever you have Pocon Picon is in here and all Nigeria. Do you understand? But then the press says, meanwhile, the name betrays that young man or that young lady. Now, also be. Yet, he may not have been socialized.
He probably was not.
Was not socialized to understand that he carries a burden.
High school.
Yes.
College.
Yes. Now support here.
Yes.
And it was not his community.
Yes. So again, but no matter what you say, that name carries a burden, and that burden is the Igbo burden. Yes. Because people will recognize who he is, and if there are things that are ascribed to us as in the Igbo Gabo, something they feel or they have inadvertent fear for, or unnecessary or uncalled for fear or attitude that is derogatory, they will put it on him.
I have gone for the Ndingwele and then at the ball. Actually, Onyenke Ebuzoku nke mgbe Obama ka wo president.
Yes.
Onyenke na-apịa tennis na New York.
Oh.
Na hotel asịa na ofiti profile wee tụọ ya na before malife na-ekwu.
Yes.
Mana onwere ihe, but just because no nwere name esevu ihe maka ọ dịghakwa na oji ofiti profile. Etu ka ọ dịkwa onye Igbo. Ọ bụrụ na ọsọ chụwa Igbo, afa gị ya emegogo onye Igbo. Actually, I'm going to have a mirror.
Yeah. Again, part of what we're talking about, but
yes.
Because Nena Nazulonga Kazopia from who that child bo. MSC a twine noga nakute no binal, monoga no chio binal. You see, again, that's some of the things that I look at. Because you see, I am asked to do mwazi ka fano chi obi na quitting go anochi. Makano obim na mwam ga anochi ga man even niama.
Because I think you make a very important point here. Because all these, well, I shouldn't say all these, all of us, parents, that emigrated from Igbo, that live in communities across the world, every single one of us still has ties to Igbo.
Yes.
Well, I shouldn't say everyone, but the overwhelming majority of us, we like Naiwundi Igbo.
Yes.
We like to perpetuate Igbo in us, Omenala Igbo. And one of the strongest Omenala Igbo, nwa gị nwoke ga-anọchi obi gị. Eji amụ nwa kpọọ ya obi m echikwele, obi echi. Yes. You raise a child that doesn't understand anything about your culture. He goes, he mixes with everybody, assimilates, becomes a typical child of that culture where his parents live. In fact, I can tell you for sure, if you ask a lot of Umundi Igbo, where are you from? Well, my parents are from Nigeria. They do not even identify themselves as from Nigeria. Then you're expecting that one day you take him home, Siangwa, come and play.
Yes.
In Ekudu, nke kanke, but that they can't even trace their genealogy. Omankowangu umunnia. Now we see na nnukwu nnia bụ so and so. My grandfather, this is my father, my grandfather, my great grandfather, my great great grandfather. On both sides of the family, both ikwu nnia na bennia. You see, because when a child knows their ancestors and what they've accomplished, because those are the gene pool that is come through to him. So if genealogy is not something that he has been brought up in, and that in a boom waka, because the older they get, the more they want to find the essence of who they are. They want to find themselves in the larger global community.
Everybody seeks identity. But I will also tell you that the flip side of that is that when these children are growing up and their experience of Iwu Onye Igbo, Agapati nke Anuogu, Agapati today, my parents are pally with this other group of people. 2 days later, you hear them denigrating them. Then they ask themselves, this is a very dysfunctional society.
Yes.
And they will choose to separate.
Yes, naturally.
No,
you see it at our parties, even here in Chicago.
Okay.
You go into the hall, the parents are all decked out, the best Ashebi in town. The guys are all decked out, looking gorgeous. The children are either in one small corner or outside in the parking lot. Outside, even in some of the very not too
good
comfortable, safe neighborhoods, the kids are out in the parking lot, hanging out in the parking lot. So if you come out there, about 150 to 200 Omwaka on the parking lot, which drive-by shooting can happen in Chicago. Machuku have been protecting us. But my point, we start the events at unholy hours.
Ungodly.
Well.
Then the children are out there till like 11, 12, right? Out in the park, really doing nothing. This could as well be the graduation party of one of our youth.
Yeah,
the people on a dance floor.
Now about
sukus. But the parents. The children are outside or in one corner feeling disconnected from what is going on. And then too, some of the ways we conduct our cultural activities here does not represent who we are, because we give them a different view of what is not right thing.
Yes.
Now, thanks to YouTube, many of them are turning to YouTube and Nollywood. Now, Nollywood can teach them how to bump and grind the best moves, the best dance moves, and all that. But Nollywood is not well equipped in its own performance to actually represent the culture in a more accurate way. Again, it goes back to parents. Now, but that's why the community, again, it behoves us to build communities where I aka ibe amaro ibe izie. What I don't know, then you can help me socialize or teach my child. Everybody without nkoma, obelazu without obelenko, nukwazu without nukunko, and we can make up what will be for the benefit of our children. And then, like you said, they will be proud to be part of that community. And then if that community continues to celebrate them, I remember in this community, Chicago, there was a time the organizers of the Igbo Fest wanted to introduce the celebration of graduation every year in summer. Let's have a party to celebrate all the children that have graduated. It was now supported by a lot of the families. That could have been a place where, again, the community will show appreciation for children who have achieved. Those children will appreciate the fact that their community is celebrating their success. So every milestone, they see their community show up. Then when they become successful, they will reach out to the community because they owe it to the community.
If the community nurtures the child remembers the community.
It's simple.
So you are listening to WGHC 98.3 FM, Straight Talk Radio. As Mazi Oke has said, this is a publicly supported radio station. We depend entirely on donations from listeners. This is an African community radio. If you listen to programs on this radio and you like what you hear, we ask that you try to make an effort to send a little donation to help us continue to fund these programs. You can make a donation on the WGHC website. If you're listening on Facebook, we see a few of you here. Elotana, we acknowledge you. Pius Eze, you've been a
stalwart.
Yes. You log in all the time, and we are quite appreciative. And there was let's see, Ago. We also want to recognize you. Thank you, guys. Laz Oyeka. Please keep listening and send your comments. You can also call in if you wish. Our studio line 773-942-7167. We really want this to be interactive, where we can take comments from our listeners, and because at the end of the day, this is for all of us to learn and grow. You can, if you just want to listen, you can dial 1-563-999-3221. Some of you already have the TuneIn app for your Android radio, and others have the WGHC app that they downloaded from Apple. You can also continue to listen on these media. All in all, thank you for supporting the program. So back to the discussion. Mazi, okay, were you saying something?
Yes, before I go on, I would like to remind our listeners and those around the Chicago area that on the 26th of this month, we're going to have a street festival hosted by the radio station For Peace Against Violence in the Community. We're going to be between Wilson and
Montrose on Broadway.
Yes. So please come join us. We will have African food. We'll have some African vendors and a lot of other vendors out there. So come out and enjoy the radio station. Fun. You have all the VJs and all the other shows represented. So come and we will meet you. We will discuss. We will maybe get you even on the radio waves to say hello and hi and share your opinion. So come out on the 26th and join our street festival.
There we go.
So about the discussion, we're still discussing on Igbo Gade to be or not to be for Igbo. And we are talking about it in the sense of the people in the diaspora today. How do we continue to be Igbo in the diaspora? And from all you've heard, we're now talking about solutions to all the problems that is well known by any Onyibo. We've talked about our children, those that we always say that children are our future, and part of the problem is that we don't really, as a community, prepare them to be the future of Igbo. We may prepare them to be the future of our families, but not as Igbo people. And then how do we correct that? So we're discussing solutions, and if you want to join us either by leaving your comments on Facebook, go ahead and do that. If you want to call the radio station, it is 773-942-7167. Yes. And so for me, on the discussion that we're talking about, I want to point to something that I know our people are very religious, and a lot of Igbo are Christians, so I want to take us back to the Bible. And the reason I want to do that is because I want to mention that we are not the only community to find ourselves in the diaspora, or as the Bible will call it sometimes, in the dispersion, much later. But if we look at the story of Hezekiah, this was after the Jews were taken into Babylon. I mean, they've been conquered many times, taken out, brought back, but this was the Babylonian exile. And Hezekiah was a cupbearer for the king, which means he has a cushy job with the government. But he didn't venture into Israel. Somebody had just come back from there. And he asked what the condition of the place is. And when they told him, he was heartbroken. And then he started seeking ways to go back and help. Now, why do I bring up this story? Because a lot of us relate to it. And the first impulse is for us to get up and say, let's go back and build the wall back in Nigeria or Igbo land. Let's go back and help. If you look at the story, actually, if you read the story much more carefully, there was much more planning and a paperwork, so to speak, that gave him the authority to be able to go back and do that. And the paperwork didn't emanate from Israel. It emanated from where he was in Babylon. Mazio Delega, who's on the program, said something years ago that stuck with me, that the children that are in diaspora are the Igbo advantage, because there will be the people who are outside of the trauma that is in Nigeria, who also understand and have gotten knowledge from the diaspora, who could be able to fuse that with the wisdom of Igbo-ness if we teach them, and be able to take that back so that if we do go back, and we will go back, there will be an exodus, that these people will be the people that will build those walls to the right requirement, to be sturdy, to be not shaken. And my big other talk is that foundation matters a whole lot.
Yes.
If only foundation the children are getting at home is that they get a Harvard education, a Yale education, an Ivy League education, and is missing the wisdom and the Igbo-ness that comes with the
Amamihe Igbo.
It is incomplete.
Yes.
Yep.
Well,
because na imana always na kebe to si where also no uch na agosia nke academia obu na amarozu akọ na uche then na onye amara ife. You see, a lot of times what I see with the academia is really an enhancement of your native indigenous language and thought. And if you think you can suspend and discard the wisdom of the ages,
yes,
that have sustained your people,
yes,
and acquire a new set of ideas, and still try to live as Onyibo within that cosmos and environment, it will not work. Because, you see, many of us still think in Igbo and speak English. So why don't you be yourself?
Actually, I want to put it in a different way that makes the same point.
Yeah.
Because you look at education.
Yes.
You know, someone once said, the British have educated their colonies to be middle civil servants.
Yes.
So you can go to engineering school, you're an engineer, you sit in an office, they give you a car and you don't know what to do with a car.
Yes.
And yet you're a mechanical engineer.
That's right.
You're a physician. You know the book worth of of being a doctor.
Yeah.
But immediately you see a case that is not classic, you are lost. Because you have crammed information, you don't know how to apply information.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, for example, if you look at...
Or like a doctor who sees himself so much as a doctor that he cannot be useful to his community.
Yes.
By not being able to know how to function within his culture.
Yes.
Oblief.
Yes. And that's really the point where I'm agreeing with you, because you can have a Harvard education. You can sit wherever you sit and do whatever you do. First of all, if you cannot bring that your knowledge and apply it to the betterment of your people, that's a lost cause.
Yeah.
And for you to be able to do that, you have to know your people.
Yes.
You have to know your people.
Yeah. And I think that was what was brilliant about the way our fathers functioned and raised us. You know, because they grew up within the culture. They obtained and acquired the so-called golden flakes, but it never changed them.
How can it change you when you know who you are?
That's the point.
Because, well, again, we've said this so many times. Look at this. Akwụkwọ ala bekee wu nke na-ewu. A community would come to ego ezipụ mmadụ. Now, people na-atụ ego ka ezipụ mmadụ, or somebody who is well-to-do ga-akpọrọ 2 or 3 people zipụ, has not signed a contract with them of how much they will refund him when they come back.
Yes. Yeah.
There is no bond holding you as you leave.
Yes.
No, ana yogi idokata ya ebe ahụ welata ya ụlọ.
Yes. And then welkwando ọzọ wepụ.
Because azụọ gị ga-echere zụkwa obodo na-aga n'ihu. Nwoke gara meghe shop kpọrọ ụmụaka na-azụrụ ya ahịa. After a few years, they do higher, children second set, they do higher, children third set, they do higher. That is why Epota asigi newi na azụ spare parts. Is it newe mgbe anọkọtara kpọ ndị newi si okay unu ga na azụ spare parts?
No.
It is because somebody started and through him a community, a bido a line of business.
Yes. A franchise.
Asigi ndị abriba importation. Or how line okporoko.
No, you see, these things that you're saying, you think is happening
by happenstance.
No, and it's not only happening within the Nigerian space.
Yes.
In this country,
yes,
somebody told me that a certain ethnic, in fact, one village,
yes,
out of India, owned all the 7-Elevens.
F7-Elevens, exactly.
Because one man started investing in buying 7-Eleven, and then, of course, everybody from his village, he taught them. Eventually, he ended up buying the entire franchise, and of course, buying the ability become a broker for 7-Eleven, and of course, he brought through all of his people.
Yes.
So again, all Kambasia survive.
Yes.
Because you cannot hinge. You see, that's why the fallacy sometimes of people want to now I'm getting no okay, we'll just see Harvard puta.
Coronelu. He may be very successful as an individual.
Yes.
But a tree cannot make a forest.
Yes. And then, the higher you go, the more isolated you start feeling.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't meet people who think like you or who can relate with you, it could be very lonely. And that is happening within our culture, especially for our girls.
Well,
our girls are becoming so isolated because I know say go back, or some people will isolate their kids and natural no ablo aristocrat. But at the end of it all, And I see because no, when you need them to be known is when they are small and they play around with the rest of the group.
Yeah.
Then the group will now begin to see them as people who they can become, have relationships like, with. So, but, I mean, my point is there are at various levels where we've dropped the ball. It's important that we don't really, I'm not asking for us to reinvent the wheel. I'm asking us to do what we've always done before. Because I'm a effect.
This roadmap. Ija agala ya.
I brought Saibu is.
Yes. So the question, KKIG, so katazi eni ikwe. Suwanala.
That's the point. And
that is the question that needs to be asked.
Come back to what we know that works for us. Ohaka.
Mazi, okay?
Yes, sir. Awesome, Paul. The letter now call with Iwubu. The purpose of the law is to be a tutor, right? The law by itself does not actually lead anybody to righteousness.
Yes.
So that you know book.
Yes.
Don't mean that you know anything. If I could repurpose that saying, the formal education by itself, all that formal education does for you is open your eyes to so much that could be learned. And I wouldn't even all the other foundation, which is what we are saying. If you don't have a cultural concept to ground it in, if you don't have the if you don't know who you are, if you're not self-aware, if you don't know where you come from, if you don't know your genealogy, then we will end up behind over there, because so many people, I think it was Okibo that brought this up, so many people who actually came from very, very well-to-do families, the money don't save them.
Yeah.
Eventually, you have to have something else that provides the grounding, that provides the foundation on which all this wealth financial will have to be on. Or else, if we don't have that, then it will be a shame that we end up because
actually it's happening already. It's happening already. We have seen people who, I've seen families, and on the Igbo come nekuo.
Yeah.
Omu etole puo. Either dear Mola or Munya Mola. Atobodo's yes, very little support.
And I just say, what's my motivation? Or do you go late at that point to figure out what's your motivation?
It's very late at that time. Very late.
Community, and the only way we could be a community is to actually relate to one another.
And begin to set up structures that bring us together.
Purposefully. And where the agenda is clearly that we want this sustained for posterity.
And then we're within the money where their own ideas, or to have their own purposes, or to have their own agenda. When you have that, put it on the table so that no one give me a That way, it's easier to help you when I see something that will help your agenda or your purpose. And
actually, that one is the most frustrating for most people.
That's the one.
When you become, instead of those in the hunt, you become the hunted.
Yes.
So I think, for me, one the number is yoku. And then one you one negi. Now Bembi, Ndi Bobier in and I like him Kahasieme. Obo no delim for the Nabata. Obo no del him malo, Mabata. Manobros or some we fed delim mother. We fed them too.
Yes.
We name a birthday or the meat bonya. What were the birthday in a menon and a babo? Or the ma.
Lele ball together.
Yes.
Yes.
Ebana man Jackal Quazioku. And then a ball, na Bakwaka, obviously the ma. And that Umazia now from Mekalita, because that's where they pick it up from.
That's
right. Also some way where from a setting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Adiogu.
Anyway, you're listening to WGHC 98.3 FM, and this is Straight Talk Radio. We again want to encourage those who are in the Chicago area to come out to our street festival on the 26th of May. That is one way that we also give back to the community. Violence is a problem within our community, so as a radio station, all the shows and all the management of this great community radio is invested in seeing that we live in a safe and prosperous community. So we want everybody out on the street to celebrate our togetherness, our community, our oneness, our values, and also to make sure that we curb this violence and the fear that have gripped our community. Because oftentimes you find out that the reason why sometimes there's violence is that people have misperceptions about each other. And so this is a great way for us to come together. So please come out and join us as we celebrate. Bring your ideas, bring your values, bring your energy, and also bring your appetite. And then you have a great opportunity to network with people in this great community. So there's so many things that will come out of it. So WGHC 98.3 FM, your voice is where you listen to your music, and it is where you know that we are your station, your local station that cares about you and would like to see good things happen for our community here in Uptown Chicago. So please join us May 26th and bring your friends and enjoy the beautiful Chicago weather that we will bring together with our great music, and all of this is being brought to you free. There's no ticket. And
as they say, the Nigerian way, rice and stew very plenty.
Yes.
So please come, please come.
Because we are talking about community. That's what it is.
Yes.
This is what it is. This land is our land. God brought all of us together in this land, and we all own it. We all have equal stake in it. America does not belong to any particular ethnic group. Neither does it belong to any particular person or any particular political party. But all of us come together. That's why the Constitution says we the people.
We the people.
So this is a celebration for we the people.
WGHC.
We the people. America.
America.
That's right. That is the America.
Yes.
And you see, and that is what is really exciting for me. Because so many things in this great nation speaks to the Igbo way of life. You know, the opportunity is there for anyone. This is one country where Igbo Igbo.
Yes. Itinyekwa n'aka n'ihe ọjọọ.
Anwa uche.
Agwa ahụ gị na chi gị. Unu ekele ọmụ na ekele.
Ịma na onye buru chi ụzọ gbagbuo onwe ya n'ọsọ.
That's right.
No, it's true. So America will reward you for being a good Onyibo.
A good custodian of the land.
Of the land.
And we are, and that's a very good point you make. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't Igbo be in America. Mm-hmm. So this is now a microcosm of Eba Isibia.
That's right.
And it behooves us to be a Kaisiebi in all that is good.
Yes.
But just like we talk about in Straight Talk Radio, I marry her. We have not Dutch Igbo azo ka hapu ya.
I were aka wepụ aka egbe
maka mgbe a na-achụ afọ ebe m si bịa a na-asị afọ gbara aka lawa ịmara ihe ọjọọ niile juru na nke a na-aga aga jide. Let us cross over to the new year unimpeded and fresh.
Yes.
So
talking about crossover.
Yes.
It will be 7 times 7 years almost since the end of the war, which means that the Pentecost of that war is coming on.
Okay. Yes.
In a few years.
Yes. 2020.
Less than 2 years.
Yes.
There will be the Pentecost of the completion of the Nigerian Biafran Civil War.
Yes, 50 years.
O nwere onye na-ajụ mgbe anyị bido Straight Talk Radio na mbido arọ na-asị kedu plan ndị Igbo, kedu agenda ndị Igbo for 2018? Well, kedu agenda ndị Igbo for 2020?
Yeah. You see, those are the kinds of things that
actually,
communities do.
We should actually take this to a full program.
Yes.
And really talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, reserve a program to talk about 2020.
Yes.
And post Biafra.
Yes. So yeah, you're right. But that is what communities do.
That's what communities do.
Community didn't do. Think together, work
together, yes.
and plan together.
Yes.
That's it. Let's build a community where we can all plan, think, live, work, and thrive together.
For the benefit of our children and generations yet to come.
And then, if I have Igbo ji anaka, because somewhere if it's Chineke nyelai, because no monye ji.
Yes.
Ko ji anaka. If you look at every culture, they have certain strengths that they bring to the global community. And I think it behoves us to make sure that we showcase our strengths
yes.
for the benefit of the world. Because is to benefit others, not to take advantage of the people. That's why the quintessential Igbo thought that says that obiabonye abiabunia. Why we say that is to make sure that we all recognize that we carry this burden, that as we travel and sojourn in foreign lands, that we will continue to be a force for good in that land.
Yes.
Meaning, let us carry the shame of being a group that have brought
failure. Actually, a failure. Yes.
Shame.
Yes.
And to many people, for many Igbo, if that is the way you conduct your life, where you brought shame, then it is
yes.
Makarenaba, you're supposed to be missed.
No, that's
why we sang the song when Biafra was proclaimed. The major song that celebrated our exit from Nigeria was Nenyi Biafra Ala.
Yes.
Meaning that the elephant, the strength of the nation is gone. And so, but we saw
maybe
ourselves.
That means also that there's no more elephant in the room.
That's the point. Yeah. And how prophetic.
Yes.
I say, mgbe mmadụ ji mmadụ ibe n'ala, onye nọ n'ala na onye ji onye
ji mmadụ n'ala ji onwe. So if and that is a truism for even within the community. If you feel that you're going to hold the community at ransom, you are actually impeding your own progress.
Impeding your own progress. Yes.
Yeah. Onye ji mmadụ n'ala ji onwe.
Yeah.
So if actually, that's where the Chinchi saying becomes very, very instructive. Chinchi say umwe farm when did he? That is Igbo patience. Sometimes some things that go on in our community we will overcome by just being quiet and wait it out. Because no but we've come to the end of this program.
Yes.
And it's been a very insightful conversation. And I want to again thank our panelists for their thoughtfulness, their wisdom and energy.
Gio. Thank you so much.
And then we acknowledge our able and very hardworking producer, who's also the engineer for tonight, Mazi Gio Ndewo. So from the panelists, Mazi Obasi.
Ndewano ndị Igbo jidenu kunuji.
And Mazi Okechukwu.
Kachifono.
So we'll see you again Saturday for straight talk conversations from the Igbo perspective, the world as we see it. So join us Saturday 4 to 5 p.m. and every Tuesday 9 to 10 p.m. And sometimes we'll take in an hour extra as a conversation. As you know, Ola Tobo Uto, Ekwobe. Igbo Nine, Oga Adelo Numa, Dalono.
Hey, Mono, hey, Sotano, hey, Matano, hey, Question, hey.
FM. Spoil you, but we are nothing friend from see the first time. Want to trust instant. Gonna me spoil you, get anything you like. Long as you are right, then me alright. Me know your man, that's why I'm alive.
Your voice, your music.
Whether me in a skirt or jeans or short shorts, head race when me walk past. Me feel the eyes, believe the eye, me love the lights. When we spy.
Say you like you all, I got you all, baby, pana. Anywhere that you go, I can follow you to go, baby. New level.
You're listening to WGHC 98.3 FM.
New level, new level. New level, new level. New level, new level. I them turn Tony in a rebel.
Your voice, your music, your station. WGHC 98.3 FM.